Welcome to the Ultimate Farm Wife podcast. On this channel, we're going to be discussing all things marrying a farmer, moving to the land, and becoming integrated with a family farming operation. Whether you're moving to the farm for the first time or whether you're moving back into a family farming operation, we discuss the ins and the outs of all of it. So let's jump into today's episode. Hi guys, and welcome back to the Ultimate Farm Wife. I'm Katja Williams, your host, and today I'm talking with Bridgitte. Bridgitte, thank you so much for coming on today. Please introduce yourself, your family, and your farm.
Thank you so much for having me, Katja. It's an honour and I'm very excited to be on here. So, yeah, I'm Bridgitte. I'm based in Midwest WA, so I'm on a dry land cropping property with my husband, and we have 4 little kids: Ted, who's 7, Tessa, who's 6, Grace, who's 5, and Clementine, or Clemmy, Cyclone Clemmy, who is 2.5. And yeah, I farm with my husband, but I'm also spread across my family farm, which is about an hour away, where I go down once a week and help operationally, and we're just sorting out the kind of business back end with succession planning for that. So that's pretty much me. And I guess my passion is merino wool. And I've recently launched a wool clothing label that celebrates rural women, because I think they're a very underestimated, underserved, undervalued market. And I think they're the ones that keep rural Australia ticking along in the tough times and the good times. So I think they're worth celebrating. So I hope to do this through my brand and also kind of get more people aware and into wool loads. Yeah, there's still a lot of education that needs to be done to consumers to, increase use of wool in clothing.
Absolutely agree. Absolutely. So tell me a little bit about growing up. So it was a 5th generation family farm that you grew up on. So tell me a little bit about growing up.
Yeah, so I grew up on the family farm. My dad and his brother farmed together, and they still farm together. We're just, like I said, nutting out succession planning. So there was 4 children in my family, and I had 4 cousins. So it really was such a wonderful childhood, full of freedom. We got up to lots of mischief, lots of fun. We would quite often go with Dad on the farm. I remember getting like my pop, he had like macular degeneration, and I remember him thinking I was a sheep once and getting like going through the drench. And I remember Dad hanging up my little clothes on the sheep on the fence, like drying them, and I was just running around my knickers. So it was I don't know about the Occan health safety now, but I have such fond memories of the farm. It's such a happy place, and shearing is still my most favourite time of the year since 1989. So yes, I love the farm, and I'm so grateful for that childhood. And I think sometimes when things get tough on the farm out here, we had a pretty wild succession ride with my husband's family. It always came back to just giving our children the opportunity that we had growing up on the farm. It's unbeatable, that freedom no other child gets in the city. And I'll do anything to give my kids that. So so grateful for growing up on the farm, family farm.
Yeah, absolutely. So how did you meet your husband, and how was dating, and how did you decide which farm you were going to live on, and how all that worked in together?
Yeah, so my husband kind of always we kind of grew up together. We used to holiday at the same place, Calbarrio, a little coastal town, and it's quite funny. Our mums actually went to school together in year 10. My grandfather was a high school principal, so they moved to the country for a little bit, so that was quite funny. And anyways, he always kind of had a girlfriend, and I always knew he was like a lovely guy. And anyways, they separated, and one of my girlfriends ended up living in his house in town with him, so we had lots of parties there, and I guess that's kind of where the courting began. So after school, there was a drought in the 2006 and 2007 year. I wanted to do ag, but I thought I'll do something away from ag, so I actually studied occupational therapy. So I went away to uni and worked up in Broome and Carnarvon, and did a little stint on the Christmas and Cocos Islands, and then back to the Geraldton Hospital, where I've only just given up my senior OT position because I kept rolling it for maternity leave, which was great. Joys of working for the government. So I met him kind of at the end of uni, and we kind of courted. I got a job up in Broome, and I thought, if he's keen on me, I'm going to go do that, because once I go to the farm, there's kind of no turning back. So luckily there weren't any young teachers at the unit primary school, and we did lots of long distance. And then after a couple of years, I came to Geraldton, which is about an hour away from the farm. And I didn't move out to the farm until we got married because I just knew I'd be driving in for work and stuff. I kept my job as an OT. So at that stage, there wasn't really any opportunity on my family farm. So yeah, it was always going to be at my husband Jeremy's. So we kind of, made that decision. I came back, we got married, and I used to drive in and out. I don't know how I did it now, but I suppose it's a lot easier without kids to do 1,000 Ks a week driving. And then we've had the kids and smashed them out, I guess, in the last few years. And I don't know if you want me to chat about, or later on we went through a pretty crazy farm succession experience, and that's why I'm so passionate about family farms and sustaining them and having good succession planning. So I hope that answers your question.
We'll definitely come back to the succession piece. But before we get there, tell me about your first introduction to Jeremy's family farm. What were your first thoughts, and what was it like moving there? Was it different to your farm? Did it run differently? Was there different crops, different livestock? Tell me what your first impression was, and then what you noticed about it.
Yeah, it's quite funny. Jeremy really held off for a while to bring me out to the farm, which was quite funny. I think he was scared. I'm not sure, because we are quite isolated. Like, we're an hour and a half from like an IGA or getting food, that kind of thing. And so I'm from a mixed family farm. So we have cattle, sheep and crop, and it's only 50% arable. So it's really hilly, or quite billy goat country, as one of my cousins says. And, that was only 20 minutes from Geraldton, so close to the beach. My mum still had a career as a teacher. We did all the sports. We didn't kind of miss out on anything. So I think the distance was a massive, massive change for me. Just, I didn't realise how great my family farm location was. And I had a lot of friends being like, oh, my nickname's Clooney, like, I don't know how you do it. So it's certainly not for the faint-hearted. But in saying that, is a tiny little community. We pretty much have wheat bins and a school that currently has, I think, 9 kids. But there is and we have a CWA there. I'm so grateful to be surrounded by an amazing, strong, passionate rural women, and they really embraced me. And I joined the local netball team, the Uni Yahoos, and it was great. I think having kids, I probably struggled more with like the isolation and not having a village, I guess, and trying to juggle everything with a farming business too. So that was tough. But I mean, becoming a mum, I think, is tough for everyone, regardless of where you live. But I guess one thing that I was thinking about before chatting today was the vulnerability that we have. Like, I remember one of my kids being sick at night, and I think he just had a tummy bug, but he was grey and not responding and things like that. And that I remember that being like a really, really scary car ride. I was probably getting dramatic, but I remember sitting with him saying, please don't die or get sick on me, because you feel so isolated and vulnerable. And I think that's something that, yes, we choose to do, but there's all these little things that rural women kind of just embrace and take on those vulnerabilities. And I think that's pretty amazing. Not everyone would do that. So just that vulnerability, definitely. And no phone signal, all those kind of things. 2 hours to get a volunteer ambulance if we needed it. So all those that isolation, vulnerability, but there's so many great things too. So hope that answers the question.
Yeah, it did. And so you're courting, you get married. Did you get married on one of the farms?
Yeah, we did, on my family farm. We've got a big, beautiful old homestead on the farm. So I don't know if people are into this kind of stuff, but my great-grandmother was called Bridgitte, and a couple of weeks, Mum was always going to call me Emily. Then 2 weeks before I was born, Mum's like, the name Bridgitte popped up, and Dad's like, oh, that was actually my grandmother's name, but they called her Trish, or something. Patricia was a middle name. So he said that. And then when I was born, I was actually born on her death anniversary. So that happened. And then I married Jeremy, her husband. It was Jeremiah, which is Jeremy's a derivative of that. And anyways, this old house where they live, I have such a strong connection to it. And so we got married. I got proposed to in the shearing shed. I know that's probably not every girl's dream, but Jeremy had the fairy lights up. It was really sweet. And then we got married in church, and then had the reception at our wedding at the old house on the farm. So that was a pretty good fun night. I have lots of red wine stains on my dress. Not from me, I don't drink wine, but just gives you an indication of what the night was like.
And that's perfect because you said shearing was your favourite part of the year and you're so passionate about wool, so it's just perfect that the wool shed was part of that story as well.
Absolutely. And do you know how you get dressed? The bride usually has matching pajamas while they're getting ready. I had shearing singlets, so I don't know if that gives me a bogan vibe, but yeah, very cool.
No, I love that. It fits in perfectly with all your favourite different bits and pieces.
Where heritage and legacy intersect with the fashion world. Homestead Road is founded by fifth-generation wool producer Bridgitte Brooks, built on the values of versatility, quality, durability, and sustainability. Homestead Road's mission is to educate, connect, and celebrate rural women by creating timeless, modern, and effortless woolen pieces that speak to the sensibility and sophistication of women on the land. After having her 4 children, Bridgitte learnt how important clothing and fashion can make you feel after your body and identity changes. Bridgitte found a gap in the merino activewear market, reflecting effortless and modern athleisure wear pieces. Homestead Road creates Australian merino wool garments that can be taken from day to night, task to task, as is the busy life of a multitasking rural woman. Bridgitte has given the absolutely fabulous and the ultimate farm wife listeners a 40% discount. Please use the code Katja40, that's Katja, Katja 40, for 40% off your garments. This offer ends on the 31st of October, so jump in as soon as you can and help celebrate Bridgitte, her work, and us as rural women.
So when you moved onto the farm with Jeremy, what was the living situation? Was there a workers' cottage? Was there a second house? Did you move into the main homestead with him and his parents? What did that look like?
So we kind of lived in the workers' cottage, but so just to give you a bit of background, my in-laws had separated before we got together, but that was quite a messy divorce and made succession planning quite challenging. But yeah, we moved into workers' quarters, but as soon as we got married, his dad kind of moved out and wanted to swap. But when I say moved out, he just packed up his clothes and left 35 years of history there for me to clean up, even though I had a full-time job and whatnot. So yeah, we did move into the house, which we didn't request, or there was no urgency from us. But anyways, my father-in-law thought that was the right thing to do. So no, we're lucky we're in the main house and it's got a pool. So we just fit all our kids in. So yeah, no, we're very lucky.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful. And so how did you go sifting through the history of the house when you first moved in to make it, like over time, make it feel like yours and the kids? How did you work out, what vibe you wanted and what was important to box and keep and what was important to keep, up and displayed and what was able to then be disposed of?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I guess for a long time it didn't feel like mine. I felt like we were living in my in-laws' house. Like my sister-in-law, her room was just exactly as it was as a little girl. But yeah, and we're lucky because we didn't really have any furniture. So we kept the kind of furniture we wanted and yeah, kind of got rid of the rest, like checked with my father-in-law if he wanted, donated lots of things to Good Sammy's, like kitchen stuff. We kept I'm a bit of an old soul and love the sentimental stuff. So we kept all the, old farm maps and photos and yeah, that kind of stuff. At the time, I really wanted to upgrade the kitchen and do that kind of stuff. But we put some plasterboards up because it was all dark brick. But now that stuff doesn't bother me. And to be honest, with 4 kids, they can wreck the joint before I upgrade it. So yeah, it's been great. We did paint some walls too because it was quite dark, the walls. But we've kind of made a bit more of a back lawn and that kind of stuff too. But I'm not, I'm pretty easy pleased on that stuff. I'm not too fussed. So yeah, it was more, I was more just kind of pissed off that they left everything there for me to pack up more than anything. But yeah, other than that, it was fine.
And how long do you think it was between, when you first moved in and did the transition in houses to when the home felt like it was yours?
Oh, probably not until like we've had our fourth child, really, because it all happened quite quickly. We got married, then our son was born 8 months later. So yeah, and then we kept having kids. So yeah, it's taken years, to be completely honest, and probably my mindset, that's a massive thing too, just to embrace it and know that it's my home and that I'm not living anyone else in anyone's home kind of thing. So yeah, it has taken a while.
Yeah. So what did your everyday life look like when you first moved to the farm? So you were driving and doing OT. Were you also helping on the farm when you could? Or what did your day-to-day look like when you first moved to the farm? And what does it look like now?
Yeah, so when I first moved to farm, I was working, so I'd have to leave at like 6:15 and I wouldn't get home till 5, and then I'd usually go do some exercise and dinner and help where I can on weekends and that. But no, I was purely doing my OT work. And then now, I guess, so 9 years on, it's very different. So I do all the back end of the business, so do all the bookwork, which seems to continually, the list of jobs to do for that continually increases. And then moving to a small community, volunteerism is high. I think that you naturally learn to do that in the country, so that has taken up so much of my time. I've actually we're talking about getting burnt out and your body giving us a warning. I actually, apologies if it's a trigger for anyone, had a little car accident about a month ago, and I'm so lucky that I'm okay. And I think that was the universe telling me that I need to step away from some roles. So I've started to do that. But yeah, so that takes up a lot of my time too. And then obviously just wrangling 4 kids. But my kids are pretty free range and almost Lord of the Flies. So yeah, they're outdoor kids. We've got a pet calf at the moment called Barry, named by my son. So that's kind of the juggle, really. And then trying to do Homestead Road as well. I guess I'd love to do more with that, but I don't like sitting in the office a lot either, so, and the time to do it. So it's such a juggle. I think as real women, we have so many balls up in the air, and it's just where we can fit it and how, kind of thing. Yeah, so very different.
Absolutely. So tell me about introducing the kids, one at a time to the farm. Was there small changes that happened with each child that came, or did that sort of change the way that you did things dramatically, or has it all been fairly similar? Like we talked about the vulnerability of it being, you and your husband, and then when you bring kids into the mix as well, like you think, oh my gosh, like I'm not just thinking of me, and the distance is a big thing you mentioned earlier, and now you've got kids that have got to travel the distance as well. So tell me about that.
Yeah, I guess kids and on the farm, our son was prem, so we had like 4 weeks at Hotel St. John of God Hospital, which was awesome. So I think that was a great introduction for me. I was very nurtured at the start. Yeah, I think with the kids it was fine. Like our son Ted, if you read his school journal, you think he's the operations manager at Brookdale Farms. He asks workmen what they like, out of curiosity, what they're doing and stuff. But I think sometimes it sounds like, it might sound a bit rude. But my husband, he is so great with just taking the kids and embracing it, whereas it stresses me out trying to do jobs with children. Like I have the mum's guilt, and then you're not doing a good job of the other tasks. So he's so great at just taking the kids and embracing it and sleeping in the back of the truck cab. I'm so lucky. We're a great team, and I think that makes a big difference. So there are a couple more interested in the farm than others, but no, it hasn't been an issue. They've just embraced it. It's all they've known. And with the driving, they kind of get used to that too. There's not much we can do about it. Every now and then they'll say, oh, Mum, why do we have to live so far out of town? But I was like, well, we wouldn't have the farm if we wanted to live closer to town. And then they're like, oh, yeah, no, we're happy to drive. I don't do iPads or anything. We just listen to lots of Wiggles and whatever else is hot at the moment for little kids. So, no, that bit has been absolutely fine. I thought I would have struggled more, it would have been harder. But the kids on the farm living away hasn't been trouble. It's more just like the whole farm business succession. Yeah, that's been the tough bit more than anything. Yeah, but we've embraced it and love it. And yeah, we're so grateful that we've got the opportunity to be on a farm.
Yeah. Yeah. So Jeremy's farm has gone through succession. What stage of it are you up to?
So we've finished it now. So where Jeremy and I are both directors of the family farm, got a plan that we just like pay out my father. So my mother-in-law has passed away, and yeah, we just pay it my father-in-law now. It's like a 20-year. We're basically buying the farm with the divorce and settlement and everything. It's pretty much we bought the farm, or we're buying the farm at commercial value. We've just got better terms than the bank, so we've got 20 years to kind of pay it off. So yeah, it was crazy at the time, but yeah, very, very relieved that it's over now, and very grateful for the opportunity. And there was a time, we're in a very marginal area, so there was a time when we didn't, like, the farm had been on the market because there was a time we didn't know if we'd be able to keep it. We have 2 good years in every 7, but my husband and I, we kind of rolled with the quote, the universe favors the brave. So that the year that we didn't know if we were going to be here, we're like, stuff it, let's just put it all in, and we're not dying wondering. And Mother Nature was very kind. And yeah, kudos to my husband Jeremy. He's kind of been quite aggressive with trying to scale to make the business profitable, and it has paid off. So yeah, I just think if you truly believe it in your heart, like we never ever thought we weren't going to be here, even though sometimes there was a possibility we could not be here. We never accepted it in our heart, I guess. So that, I think that's, our gut instinct is really strong. And yeah, we're here today to tell the story. And I guess we've learned a lot. Our generation, it's quite interesting, like the generation before the baby boomers, they've worked hard, and I'm not taking anything away from it. And the land prices have grown through the roof. So I think they want a cut of that, which is fair enough, but it comes at a cost of, do you want to keep the family farm going and have the opportunity that your dad gave you or parents gave you? So for us, I guess we want to be the circuit breakers and we've had to act like businessmen and have clear strategy and manage business, which succession planning is. So for our kids, we want to be in a position where we talk about it, and there's a clear plan, and it's not an emotional thing. It's something that's fair and everyone chats about. I think, if you think of any other business that manages millions of dollars of assets, they've got boards and pretty good communication. But sometimes the old family farm, they just want to stick their head in the sand and not chat about it for some reason. So that's kind of where we're at. So yeah, and I know that's not the case for a lot of people for our age, in our mid-30s. So we are very, very grateful for that.
Yeah. So when it was happening, were you allowed in the room to just talk succession, or was your husband sort of the family representative in that room?
Yes, and I've heard you talk a lot about this, Katja. I guess growing up on a farm, I have that respect that it is a very emotive family, business. So I was very aware of that. I know the daughter-in-law complex is a real thing. So I was invited to meetings, but I never really said anything, just out of respect. And I think my husband and I were on the same page. I was like, I'm backing you up. This is your dream. You want to go farming here. So I'm supporting you, which I think sometimes the in-laws don't see that or don't understand or grasp that. But yeah, so I deliberately stayed classy, but I saw some very, very bad behaviour, and I'm so glad that I didn't say anything, because there were accusations that I said things, and Jeremy's like, well, Bridge, actually, we deliberately don't say anything. So it was quite funny. And yeah, I think you'll never ever regret staying classy. I know, like, if someone saw subtitles in my mind, they'd think I'm a psycho, but I think, if you always stay classy, people remember bad behavior. And it's been fascinating seeing that, and being on the other end of it too, receiving end of it hasn't been nice. And I just hope, my daughters never ever experience that as well.
Yeah.
Always sun.
Did you have a mantra in the moment to help you stay classy? Do you have some techniques like grounding your feet or taking a few deep breaths, or how did you, in the moment, because I know that's really hard to do, in the moment, how did you choose, I'm not going to speak up about this, I'm going to let it play out?
Yeah. Do you know, in the moment, I probably didn't. To me, I guess with my brain, I was like, yeah, just don't say anything. And yeah, my husband and I guess, debriefed a lot. And I actually did reach out to a counsellor too through our EAP, just because it was consuming so much of my time just over my head, because there was no security. I was pregnant, like we didn't know. Yeah, it was just very unsettling. And I wish, on reflection now, I wish I focused on my mindset and change the things that I can change, like my behavior. People aren't going to change, so we just need to work with us and how we can manage it. So I really wish that I had a better mindset, I guess. Yeah. And I was very lucky. Some very close, beautiful friends are of great listening ear, and I probably sounded like a broken record too, but they were very good listeners, and I think I just needed to vent and let it out. And it was hard when people kind of made me out like I'm the bad guy, but I was just here supporting Jeremy. And of course, I want to go farming too, but it's a very delicate situation. Yeah, and on reflection, I wish I looked after them. Oh yeah, not sweated it so much and worked on my mindset a bit more. So yeah.
It is really hard to do when the security isn't there, especially being on top of pregnancy as well. So you've got a heap going on. And when we're pregnant, we're wanting to protect, not only the baby we're carrying, but also our other kids, and trying to keep that all together is very overwhelming. So I'm so glad that you got support both professionally and through friends. That's so important to do. I'm really glad that you had that and that you were able to come out the other end smiling as you are.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like before our wedding, we had a bit of a thing where, I want to stay classy, but like I got a few abusive, threatening text messages about our wedding invites and stuff. So it's been a crazy ride and learned a lot. And I think our generation, it's so great that you talk about it too with, absolutely fabulous and the ultimate farm wife. But it's conversations we need to keep having. And I think if our generation can plan well and stay classy, we're being really good role models for the next generation. And that's how a family farming business should be, because we all want to still have Christmas together each year and talk. So yeah,
absolutely. And so, I mean, you don't have to go through succession again for your generation, but is there something that you would let others know, so other ultimate farm wives know, if they're going through the thick of succession, is there something that you wish you knew when you were younger and going through it that you'd like to gift out to them? Piece of advice.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I guess I want to say I'm always happy to be a listening ear. So I've been there, and I'm going through it with my family farm, which we all talk, and we've got a great plan, but there's other challenges still. So, and I know, like, I don't really know anyone that has had a great succession experience. So I think just being able to talk to people, and you don't want to know people's business, but it's interesting to see how people are creative or what they're doing to survive and get through it. So I think having a really good support base is imperative, and really working on your mindset. And like I said, I'm always happy to have a chat, because I've been there and it's something I'm passionate about. I've pitched it to the NFF, but I think it's something as an industry that we need to talk about more, because otherwise the generation before us just leave it, and it's a lot easier sorting it out. So I don't really have a gold nugget solution, sorry, Katja, but I mean, what you do is amazing. Even listening to podcasts and things, I think it's so great, and it's not easy. And you need to remember while you're putting up with it all. But I think if you've got a really solid relationship with your partner, you can get through anything. That's what I think. I was like, Jeremy and we can get through anything. We're really good friends, and yeah, it makes you be good communicators. So in your relationship, so you can get through anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Barnyard Language Podcast is honest talk about running farms and raising families, hosted by us, Katie and Arlene, an Iowa sheep farmer and an Ontario dairy farmer with 6 kids, 2 husbands, and a whole lot of chaos between us.
We talk to guests who have life experience that's relatable to parents in agriculture and offer resources, perspective, compassion, a few swears, and lots of laughs.
Whether your farm is a raised bed in your backyard or 10,000 acres.
Whether your family is in the planning stages or you've got a dozen kids.
If you've ever had a car seat in a combine, a stroller in a stable, or you have a toddler or a teen in your tractor, this is the podcast for you.
Subscribe to Barnyard Language today on your favorite podcast platform.
So tell me where Homestead Road, where the idea formulated and how you went about setting up the business.
Yeah, so I guess that was formulated out of being a desperate housewife, breastfeeding kids. I guess, as you know, you spend a lot of time sitting with babies. And I guess I thought about my legacy and what I want to leave and what good thing do I want to do in the world while having kids. Obviously, OT, I loved it, but I probably was suffering a bit of compassion fatigue, and ag has always been my passion. So I wanted to kind of do something that involved our farm and, make a difference to the industry. So I initially wanted to do baby blankets, and I had a pathway for wool, but Dad, for some reason, I think he thought that we weren't going to get paid for the wool. He was not keen. He wanted to keep with his wool broker, yada, yada, yada. So that's fine. But then I saw there was a real big gap in the activewear market. That is like a growth area and market share. And, the qualities of wool lend itself to be perfect for activewear. The wool activewear that is around is kind of boring and quite technical, like, where is the stuff with the real athletes of the world, real women, Katja? So, yeah, I literally Googled how to start your own fashion business.
I love that.
And then did an online course and reached out to Walmart as well, reached out to a couple of brands who were so lovely in sharing their experience and linking me in with people, and pretty much went from there. So I just used Australian wool. I did want to use ours, but it's just Australian wool for now. And to be honest, from a consumer level, I think people are happy with just Australian wool. It could be ours, it's similar micron. Yeah, so that's kind of where it's at. All the designs I created while having babies, and I put on a lot of weight, like nearly 30 kilos for each kid. Fortunately, I didn't have a 26 kilo placenta when I birthed the kids each time. But yeah, so they're all feel good clothing. I think that's something I really struggled with, was feeling good, and I didn't realize how much psychology is involved with fashion and how clothes can make or break how you feel and how you show up for the day. So it's been really nice kind of learning that. So yeah, all the designs are comfy and functional, but flattering as well, I guess. And it's been amazing. Like, the wool community has been so supportive, and rural women. So yeah, it's been great. I think I've just about broken even now, but obviously I recycle the money to pay for the next one. So yeah, it takes a long time for wool. Lots of people don't know about wool, like in the fashion industry. Like, it's crazy. I'm like, I do want to work with wool. So yeah, they're like, what? So yeah, it's been a journey, and I make sure that everyone knows what the wool levy is and things like that. So I give them education even if they don't ask, but hopefully they are a bit more connected to rural Australia. But it's been really interesting.
Yeah, and absolutely all helps. And of course it would absolutely lend itself, because wool doesn't hold odor. Like, it's very breathable. It doesn't hold. And I think when people still think wool, they still think like really old fashioned wool, like itchy, heavy. But the wool that you're talking about, the microns you're talking about, the designs that you're talking about are really lightweight. So if people are wanting to compare it to something they might have in their wardrobe, what would you compare it to?
Oh, that's a tricky one, Katja. You're so right. There's this perception, people actually don't know what to expect from wool. So I think, there's a big opportunity there. Like, the jerseys feel like cotton jerseys, I guess. Yeah, fleeces are beautiful and soft. They're not itchy at all. I actually use a fabric that Chanel had used from the same mill in Australia, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, it's buttery, it's soft, it's comfortable, it keeps you warm when you're cold, but it also wicks the moisture, so it's perfect for exercising, or if I just think when I go to town, if I want to go for a walk along the beach and then do things like it's just perfect for working hard in your wardrobe and doing multiple tasks. So yeah,
Very durable. Wool is very durable. It will last.
absolutely.
Yeah, no, that's so great. For anyone who gets concerned about when it comes to washing time, because I know many people, not all washing machines have like a wool cycle or a cycle that they can use it on, and then all of a sudden, everything's shrunk. So what are the wool, if people are wanting to get into wool, but they're a little bit nervous about what that means for washing, particularly if they're busy, what does that sort of look like for your products?
Yeah, absolutely. So majority of my things are machine washable, just on a cool wash with wool detergent. So yeah, absolutely. Want to keep things easy. So yeah, you can get a lot of fabrics that you can machine wash. I do have one. My Australian made stuff is hand washed, but it doesn't take that long. I just chuck it in a bucket, give it a bit of a swirl, then take it out. There's ways and means around it too, with putting things in delicate bags and running a cool wash as well. But yeah, majority of my stuff is machine washable, so it is very easy care. But there is that perception that it is hard to care for, but it's not. And you wash less with wool, so if you just air it out after use, you don't actually necessarily have to wash it again. So that's why it's kind of an environmentally friendly choice as well.
Yeah, absolutely perfect for when we are in the low rain years as well. We're not having to worry about using our rainwater to wash it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, plenty of sunshine and breeze will do it.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So, Bridgitte, is there any other advice that you would provide to another farm wife, whether they're at the beginning of their journey or they've been on farm for many, many years, advice that you would gift for them?
Oh, that's a big question, Katja. I think knowing your value and not underestimating that. I think for a long, long time, I never gave myself credit or saw the value that I brought to the farm business, even though my husband would tell me that, never ever made me feel like that. But I guess when you go to work and get paid for it, it's very transactional, whereas farm businesses quite often don't work like that. It feels like you're doing a lot of love jobs of volunteering. But probably only this year I've really kind of embraced that I am of value. So I want rural women to know that, just especially on farms, just how important you are to your farmer and to the farm, but also to your rural community and the wealth of skills that you had in your past life that you bring to that. That's what makes our rural communities vibrant. And I think you're wonderful. And it's not for the faint-hearted too. So make sure you look after yourself. That's probably the biggest thing, actually. It's really hard to practice self-care when there's no daycares around and you've got 4 kids and a farm business and you're looking after staff. It's really hard. So very easy to say, but if you can try find that space to look after yourself, and it might just be getting up early so you can have a cup of tea in peace. Like, that's my thing. Quiet cup of tea. Like, it's only 10 minutes. I'd love to go for an hour walk, but it's just finding those little pockets to fill your cup, because your body and the universe has ways of letting you know when you're not, like you and I know, Katja. So I think exactly. Know your worth and look after yourself, which I know is very easy to say and very hard to do. And embrace help. That's probably my biggest issue. I'm not very good at accepting help, even though when it's offered. So I think embrace that too. Accept the help when people offer, because they don't do it if they don't offer if they don't want to. So I think that's really important to remember as well.
Yeah, we get so used to doing things ourselves that sometimes we forget that we can accept that help, and it's okay too. That's not putting someone out.
Yeah, exactly. And we're, naturally the givers to our kids, our friends, the community. So I don't know why it's so hard to do the role reversal, but anyways, absolutely. That's something really important.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for coming on today. Where can we find you on socials?
Well, thanks so much for having me, Katja. I hope it was interesting and people felt seen. And I'm more than happy to be contacted anytime. So I'm not very good with the old socials and that, but I've got the Homestead Road one, which you can probably tell I've only just got Instagram for that. So that's Homestead Road _AU, or you can go on my website, www.homesteadroad.com.au, and there's like a contact link form there. And I can create, I don't know if you want me to, I can create a little discount code for listeners if they're interested as well. So I can give you that, Katja, if you like. Yeah.
I'm sure they would love that. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, Ta.
Thank you for listening to another episode on The Ultimate Farm Wife. If today's chat has made you smile, nod, feel a little bit more seen in this wild farm wife life, share it with a mate, hit the follow button, and leave a 5-star review. It really is the best way to keep this community growing. A big thank you to the crew behind the scenes who's supporting me keep this show going. To our show editor, Krista Pathrath at the Rural Podcast Network, Lou and her team at the Administration Agency, and of course you, who tune in every single week and share your stories as well. Until next time, keep your heart full, your boots dusty, and your sense of humour close. See you next week.
Hi, welcome to Absolutely Fabulous. My name is Gillian Fennell, also known as Station Mum 101. I love everything about agriculture, especially the people, and especially communicating about what makes Australian ag so special.
And I'm Katja Williams, a beef, cattle and cropping farmer, and I love all things ag, and I'm also known as the Ultimate Farm Wife. Together, we are absolutely fabulous, and we are talking all things agriculture beyond the headlines.
And we can't wait to give our opinion to you, and we hope you enjoy it.